All right, Blake, thank you. Meanwhile, in Southern Illinois, the final phase for the Oasis Sports Complex is now underway. Devin Kidd shows us the work going on there.
Marion city officials say that construction crews are currently on the fast track of the final construction phase here at the Oasis Sports Complex and the new hotel. They're hoping everything will be completed by early fall. The project, which is part of the new Marion Star Bonds District, is expected to bring hundreds of thousands of visitors to the city annually, boosting local businesses. City officials say construction crews are well on their way to completing the Fieldhouse as well, a restaurant and entertainment center that will sit adjacent to the Oasis Sports Complex. The new Hampton Inn has also gone vertical and will feature 109 hotel rooms. As the final construction phases continue, Marion's Chief of Staff Cody Moak says that the city is gearing up for an influx of new visitors and a new era for the city of Marion.
When we have these large tournaments coming in this weekend, obviously the Thrill House is still new. A lot of local families haven't even got the opportunity to enjoy it yet, but it'll be really interesting to see how the influx of these 60 teams over the last couple weekends of March kind of interact with not just the Thrill House, but the other businesses in and around the Star Bond District. Obviously, we hope some of those families wind up on the square, which is great as well.
Crews have also recently inflated the new Integrity Dome, a 150,000 square foot air-supported facility with indoor playing fields. The indoor space will allow sporting events to continue in the city all year long. In Marion, Devin Kidd, Heartland News.